Afternoon traders, this is E with an update. It is the 26th of March and doing an after market analysis. Obviously all day long we continually read the tape, but just taking a quick peek at today's ideas and what we thought worked and what didn't. This was one of the first posts I put out. Now that's a knife. Anybody that's seen that movie understands what I mean. This was a sharp downdraft. End of the day yesterday we said that maybe we'll get a stolen range. Morning after trend day could play out, but it may not be as big as everybody thinks. So I wake up and I certainly don't play this because I'm sleeping like a baby. And I hope you were too. If you played it, congrats, you got a great trade down. And realistically, first thing I do is say, okay, where are we? I need my navigator. I want to go and find out what is our key location and then try to decide how we're going to play this. The idea was right, but didn't execute because I'm sleeping. So that's the first thing off the plate is understanding, all right, said yesterday that maybe we'll get morning after trend day, but it may not be as big as we think. In my opinion, that's a big drop overnight. So now I'm thinking, well, do we have morning after trend day already done? My conclusion is, yeah, probably. Not sure, but probably. So first thing that I identified this morning was this low right here at 36. And I made the remark to traders in the room that I'm sure profilers will see this as something, but by my system, I see this as a post that is held, a tail that's pushed, and obviously the 34.75 is the angel, so that's support until proven otherwise, and that was my premise. So if we're too low to short, then usually I advise, well, let's buy it for the half gap and see what happens. And understand that we may get a few gyrations. If you don't want to play the opening swing, I get it, but the bias should be to try to get to 49.5 half gap, and then let's use that for our resistance. We're going to use the 48 to 52 zone right in here, obviously 52.25, yesterday's low. We're going to use that as our resistance first time back and see if we can't get a good solid trade. But it turns out that trade works great, and we cannot go any further than that 36. And we had this idea that this 38.75 to 37.5 should be taking profits, and then a good possibility we could get another swing, and we could be playing whack-a-mole all day long. Turned out that's exactly what happened. The rotations, especially at lunch, were such that we took out the high. We thought that was a strong possibility but not a guarantee. So I made the remark, what do? Everybody's always looking for action. Everybody's always looking for what's the next trade, and I suggested that maybe the best thing to do was nothing, that rather than throw away the capital you've already got, why not wait a bit, see what happens, go take your lunch. If we get a higher high this afternoon, then that should be a reasonable idea to short that, as traders who are now long for the day are going to want to cover and take their profits. So that's the way I suggested to play it, rather than get caught in the middle and give everything back. Don't think of it as a position trade long. Just think of this as a squeeze type trade, especially until this 42 breaks. And this 46.75 idea right in here, that's another little double. So this held and got right into the heart of where we liked resistance, which was the 58 to 61.25. We thought that should be our defense today. And if we get lucky, get past 50.5, that was a marker we had, to 51.25. And then if you get lucky and get your dime from here, then make sure you get paid going into the close. So that was the sequence we saw as a profit-taking sequence, end of day, for profit-taking. And this is how we love to find trades. And we can see the rotations were higher. This is the RTH chart. Rotations were started here, got higher. This is your angel right here, this bar. And that held this 42.5, and then thinking out loud our measures, we start saying, hey, you know what, we could get that 54. and then some even if we took it out. So the real key was the afternoon. And because we had the long drive from early morning to this high with no contra, this is your lunchtime when you might think of a contra, but it never does hold to come back significantly like some traders wanted. So now we're thinking, okay, well, lunch is over, but now better odds for contra for traders that want too much on the long side. So that timing really played out for us fairly well, thinking that way. Here's our 5-minute chart, bottomed out, and then started to go over and under, which we interpret as being more of a range type trade. We know that we're overdone, we're oversold. This was our key resistance zone on this chart. This is why we felt that the 62 region could be used for perhaps resistance and hopefully give us a solid trade backside, but not taking out the lows. Just a solid end of day come back in to test some support, and that's as far as we got. I thought there was a lot of merit in the 10-minute chart today, and we try to guess what charts in play. I thought that perhaps the 10-minute chart, you could really see how this double held right here at that 36 zone. And then the subsequent rotations, higher highs, and then using obviously the rain line here and our target zone as theoretical resistance to come back into the close. You got to break that 50.5, 51 area, and then dribble back and perhaps test this idea. So that was the game plan, using the 10-minute chart for to help us out see that idea. Tunnel vision chart. Here's your 30, overdone, got the bounce, tried to right itself, overdone on the 60 chart. Came back into the mid-uni using this area for resistance. Look at how overdone we were at the bottom right in here at this 33 area, from overbought to oversold in here. So we felt today we should get a bounce, and keep an eye now on the next level on a bounce, see what happens overnight. Same thing on the 240, certainly out of bounds over here. And that tells us look for perhaps better odds buying. Our charts, looked at the gap chart, down, 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 and then today, this is our TH value, by the way, not the Globex. And I had suggested for close, look for the 49 area close, because we opened at that 54 area, and then we opened at 45, and I said, let's split the difference. Maybe they're going to play, instead of a doji day, let's think I'm splitting the difference, so they're going to close somewhere near 49 to split the two of them. So that came out pretty close for this idea. So sometimes you have to think outside the box, and that's what we did for the closing idea. Note that you have another gap down here, the 22s, the 09s. So for now, who knows, but I'm thinking perhaps we can get a bounce and then maybe an A, B, C, D and come back lower. That's what I would like to see, but time will tell. No one knows until hindsight, obviously. And let's finish with this chart. We felt that these were the support lows that the market was trying to respect, and that's why when we woke up today, thought, okay, maybe it's better odds that this will hold in a double first before just plunging through that. And we acknowledge we could be wrong and it could come through, but if it did, then probably marginally so. So we just felt better odds to be buying, and then looking for rotations, and assume that we're going to get a fairly messy day with whack-a-mole, and probably would be better off by the end of the day just to have played the long side. But you never know till hindsight, and so my preference was basically try to get the half gap, try to get a great trade short, get out of the way, take a few scalp trades for 5-6 points here and there if you could, and really be grateful for the opportunity that we had this type of a range to trade. In the summer, in August, there are times that we only get maybe a 6 or 7 point range in a day, and sometimes the week 10 to 12 points maximum. So certainly we've been spoiled with this kind of volatility, and I love it. I really like the action when these things are moving, and after a day like yesterday, you had to understand today maybe would get a bear flag, and so that's what I had called for, possibly a bear flag, and then hopefully hit one more and then get another reasonable short. So that wraps up what we're thinking of. A reminder, use stops. Nobody knows, not me, not anybody can tell you exactly where it's going. We give it our best guess, and we're going to be wrong. When we're wrong, take the stop out and say, okay, let's look for another. This is E signing off. Hope you had a good one. Catch you tomorrow.